What if I told you there's one tree that could keep feeding you for years? A tree that grows incredibly fast, survives drought better than many popular garden plants, produces edible leaves, flowers, and pods, and rewards you again and again from a single planting. Would you grow it? Well, that tree already exists. It's called Moringa, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to grow it successfully, even if you've never planted a tree before. But here's the surprising part. Most people don't fail because Moringa is difficult to grow. They fail because of a few simple mistakes that are completely avoidable. They plant it in the wrong location. They water it too often. They never prune it. And they unknowingly turn one of the world's most productive food trees into a disappointing garden plant. Today, we're going to change that. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know, from choosing the perfect planting spot to harvesting basket after basket of fresh leaves. No complicated gardening terms, no confusing advice, just practical steps that actually work. And before we get started, if you enjoy growing your own food, saving money, and becoming more self-sufficient, make sure you subscribe to Grow Food Smarter and turn on notifications. Every week we share practical gardening tips, simple growing techniques, and money-saving ideas to help you grow more food with confidence. Now, let's meet the tree that thousands of gardeners wish they had planted sooner. What makes Moringa so special? Every garden has its stars. Tomatoes produce heavily. Herbs save you money. Fruit trees reward your patience. But Moringa is different. Instead of giving you just one harvest, it gives you many. You can harvest the leaves. You can enjoy the young pods. The flowers attract pollinators that help the rest of your garden. The seeds can grow future trees. And because Moringa grows so quickly, you won't spend years waiting for your first meaningful harvest. That's one of the reasons gardeners around the world have embraced it. One healthy tree can become one of the hardest working plants in your entire garden. You may have heard Moringa called the miracle tree. It's a nickname that's become incredibly popular. But let's keep things honest. Moringa isn't magic, and it isn't a cure for diseases. What makes it remarkable is something much simpler. It's productive, it's resilient, it's naturally nutritious, and when it's grown properly, it can provide useful harvests year after year. That's impressive enough, without making exaggerated claims. Here's the good news. For many people, the answer is yes. Moringa loves warm temperatures and plenty of sunshine. If you live in a tropical or subtropical climate, growing it outdoors is usually straightforward. But what if your winters are cold? Don't click away. Because one of the biggest myths about Moringa is that people in colder countries can't grow it. They absolutely can. The secret is growing it differently. Later in this guide, I'll show you how thousands of gardeners successfully grow Moringa in containers and protect it through winter. So no matter where you live, there's a good chance Moringa can become part of your garden. Experienced gardeners know something beginners often overlook. Where you plant something is just as important as what you plant. Moringa loves sunlight. Give it at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sun every day. More sunlight means stronger growth and more productive harvests. Next comes drainage. This may be the most important thing you'll learn before planting. Moringa doesn't mind dry conditions once it's established, but it absolutely hates sitting in water. If rainwater remains around the roots for long periods, root rot can develop, and that's one of the fastest ways to lose a healthy young tree. If your soil drains well, you're already giving your Moringa a huge advantage. If it doesn't, don't worry. Raised beds and large containers are excellent alternatives. The goal is simple: healthy roots, healthy tree. One question almost every beginner asks is, should I start from seed or from a cutting? Both methods work. But if this is your first Moringa tree, I recommend starting with fresh seeds. They're easy to find, simple to plant, and they usually develop strong root systems. If you already have access to a mature Moringa tree, cuttings can also be successful. But for most home gardeners, seeds are the easiest and most reliable option. Whatever method you choose, always start with healthy planting material. Strong trees begin with strong beginnings. Choose loose, well-draining soil. Make a planting hole about 1 inch deep. Place one seed into the hole. Cover it lightly with soil. Then water gently. Notice I didn't say soak the soil. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is overwatering. At this stage, your goal isn't to keep the soil wet. Your goal is to keep it slightly moist while allowing air to reach the developing roots. With warm temperatures and a little patience, you'll often see your seedling emerge within 1 to 2 weeks. And that tiny sprout marks the beginning of a tree that could keep producing food for many years. During the first few weeks, most of the important work happens underground. While the seedling slowly grows above the surface, its roots are spreading through the soil, building the foundation for everything that comes later. This is the time to keep things simple. Give it sunshine. Water only when the soil begins to dry. Keep weeds away. And avoid overfeeding it with fertilizer. Many gardeners think doing more means getting better results. But with young moringa, patience is one of the most valuable gardening skills you can have. A strong root system always comes before rapid growth. Right now, your moringa has everything it needs to become a healthy tree. But here's where many gardeners make the mistake that limits their harvest for years. They let the tree grow tall, really tall. It looks impressive, but it becomes difficult to harvest, difficult to manage, and far less productive than it could be. Fortunately, there's one simple technique that completely changes that. Did you notice something? Both of those trees are healthy. Both are growing well. But only one is working for the gardener. The other is working against them. And the difference comes down to one simple technique: pruning. If there's one lesson I hope you remember from this entire video, it's this. Don't grow the tallest moringa tree. Grow the most productive one. Many beginners think a taller tree means a better tree. It doesn't. In fact, if you leave moringa alone, it naturally wants to grow upward. Before long, most of the leaves will be far above your reach. That means every harvest becomes more difficult. Instead of picking fresh leaves in seconds, you'll need a ladder, or you'll stop harvesting altogether. Fortunately, the solution is simple. When your young moringa reaches about 2 to 3 feet, or 60 to 90 centimeters tall, it's time to encourage it to branch. Using clean pruning shears, remove the growing tip just above a healthy pair of leaves. Don't be afraid. You're not hurting the tree. You're teaching it how to grow. Within a few weeks, you'll usually notice several new side branches developing below the cut. Instead of one tall stem, you'll now have multiple branches. And each of those branches will eventually produce even more leaves. As those branches continue to grow, repeat the process by trimming their tips. Every time you do this, the tree becomes bushier. More branches mean more places for new leaves to grow. And more leaves mean more harvest throughout the year. This simple technique is one of the biggest differences between casual gardeners and experienced moringa growers. Now let's talk about another mistake that quietly kills thousands of young moringa trees every year. Overwatering. It feels like the right thing to do. After all, plants need water. But moringa is different from many vegetables. Once it's established, it prefers deep watering followed by time for the soil to dry slightly. Here's an easy rule to remember. Before you water, check the soil. Push your finger about 2 inches into the ground. If it still feels moist, wait another day. If it feels dry, it's time to water. This simple habit is far more reliable than watering on a fixed schedule. If your moringa is growing in a container, you'll probably water more often because pots dry out faster than garden soil. If it's growing in the ground, mature trees may only need extra water during long dry spells. Always remember, deep watering encourages deep roots. Shallow watering encourages shallow roots. And deep roots make stronger trees. Many people assume that fast-growing plants need large amounts of fertilizer. Moringa is different. It performs best in healthy soil, rich in organic matter. Instead of relying heavily on chemical fertilizers, improve your soil by adding compost or well-rotted manure around the base of the tree. As these materials break down, they slowly release nutrients while improving the soil itself. That means healthier roots, better water retention, and stronger growth. If you decide to use a packaged fertilizer, apply it sparingly, and follow the instructions carefully. Too much fertilizer, especially too much nitrogen, can produce soft, weak branches that break more easily. Healthy soil is the real foundation of a productive moringa tree. Can you grow moringa in a pot? Absolutely. In fact, for many people living in colder climates, it's the best option. Choose a large container with plenty of drainage holes. The larger the pot, the more room the roots have to develop. Fill it with a high-quality, free-draining potting mix. Place the container where it receives at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. Because pots dry out faster than the ground, check the soil more often, especially during hot weather. And remember to keep pruning regularly. Container-grown moringa should stay compact, making it easier to manage and harvest. What if your moringa isn't growing well? Sooner or later, almost every gardener faces this question. Your tree survives, but it just doesn't seem to thrive. Before assuming something is seriously wrong, check these 5 things. Is it getting enough sunlight? Is the soil staying too wet? Does water drain away quickly after rain? Has the tree been pruned to encourage branching? And is it growing during warm weather? Most growth problems can be traced back to one of these simple factors. The good news is that once you correct the cause, moringa often responds surprisingly quickly. Compared with many vegetables, moringa is refreshingly easy to grow. It usually experiences fewer pest problems than crops like cabbage or tomatoes. You may occasionally find caterpillars chewing the leaves. On small trees, simply removing them by hand is often enough. Aphids sometimes gather on tender new growth. A strong spray of water is often all that's needed to dislodge them. The best defense, however, is growing a healthy tree. Strong, well-cared-for plants are generally better able to recover from minor pest damage. At this stage, your moringa is no longer just surviving. It's becoming established. You've learned how to water it correctly, feed it wisely, and most importantly, shape it into a compact tree that will reward you with years of easy harvests. But here's where the real excitement begins. Growing moringa is only half the story. The real reward comes when it's time to harvest your first basket of fresh leaves. You've planted your moringa. You've learned how to care for it. You've pruned it the right way. Now comes the most rewarding part of the journey, the harvest. This is the moment every gardener looks forward to. And here's the good news. Unlike many crops that produce once and are finished, moringa keeps giving. If you harvest it correctly, every harvest encourages another one. Let's start with the question everyone asks. When should you harvest moringa? One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is harvesting too soon. When your tree is still young, allow it enough time to develop a strong framework of branches. Once it's well established and producing healthy new growth, you can begin harvesting lightly. Think of it this way. You're encouraging the tree, not exhausting it. As your moringa matures, regular harvesting actually stimulates fresh shoots, giving you a continuous supply of tender leaves throughout the growing season. A little harvested often is much better than taking everything at once. Instead of stripping leaves from a single branch, harvest the tender growing tips. Use clean scissors or sharp pruning shears. Make your cut just above a leaf node or side branch. That single cut tells the tree to produce even more new shoots. Spread your harvest around the entire tree. Don't remove all the leaves from one side. A balanced harvest keeps the tree healthy, attractive, and productive. With proper care, one well-managed moringa tree can provide fresh leaves again and again. If you're growing moringa for its pods, timing is important. Harvest them while they're still young, green, and tender. At this stage, they're excellent in soups, stews, and many traditional dishes. Leave a few pods on the tree if you want seeds for next season. As the pods mature, they'll turn brown and begin drying naturally. Once fully dry, collect the seeds and allow them to air dry for several more days before storing them. Keep them in a cool, dry place, inside a sealed container. Fresh, properly stored seeds usually give you the best germination the following season. If your tree is producing more leaves than you can use fresh, don't let them go to waste. Drying is one of the easiest ways to preserve your harvest. But here's an important tip. Don't dry the leaves in direct sunlight. Strong sunlight can fade the leaves and reduce some of their nutritional value. Instead, spread them in a single layer on a clean drying rack or mesh screen in a shaded, well-ventilated place. Turn them gently once or twice each day. When the leaves become crisp and crumble easily between your fingers, they're ready. Take your time. Proper drying today means better quality moringa later. Once the leaves are completely dry, remove any large stems. Place the leaves into a blender, spice grinder, or food processor. Blend until you have a fine, even powder. For an extra smooth texture, pass the powder through a fine kitchen sieve. Store it in a clean, airtight glass jar, away from heat, light, and moisture. And always use a dry spoon when taking some out. That simple habit helps keep the powder fresh for much longer. One of the best things about growing your own moringa is that you can enjoy it in many different ways. Fresh leaves can be added to soups, stews, omelets, stir-fries, and salads. Moringa powder can be stirred into smoothies, yogurt, oatmeal, or homemade sauces. Young pods can be cooked as a vegetable while they're still tender. The flowers are also edible in many cuisines and attract bees and other helpful pollinators to your garden. Because you're harvesting from your own tree, you know exactly where your food came from. That's one of the greatest rewards of home gardening. Moringa has earned a reputation around the world as a highly nutritious food. And it's true that it's naturally rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But it's important to keep realistic expectations. Moringa is a healthy food. It is not a substitute for medical care or prescribed treatment. Think of it as one valuable part of a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. That's the safest and most practical way to enjoy everything it has to offer. If you live where winters are cold, don't let frost stop you from growing moringa. If your tree is growing in a container, simply move it indoors before freezing temperatures arrive. Place it near a bright window or under grow lights if necessary. During winter, growth may slow down and some leaves may drop. That's completely normal. Reduce watering during this period because the plant uses much less moisture. Once spring returns and the danger of frost has passed, gradually move the plant back outdoors over several days. This helps the tree adjust without unnecessary stress. The 5 biggest mistakes to avoid. Before we finish, let's make sure you avoid the mistakes that disappoint so many first-time growers. Number 1. Overwatering. Healthy roots need air as well as water. Number 2. Growing moringa in too much shade. Without enough sunlight, the tree becomes weak and less productive. Number 3. Never pruning. A tall tree may look impressive, but a bushy tree is far easier to harvest and usually produces more usable leaves. Number 4. Harvesting too heavily from a young tree. Be patient and let it establish first. And number 5. Giving up too soon. Gardening isn't about perfection. Every season teaches you something new. The best gardeners aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who keep learning. When you think about everything moringa offers, it's easy to see why so many gardeners call it one of the most valuable food trees in the world. It's fast-growing, productive, beautiful, useful. And with just a little care, it can reward you for many years. Whether your goal is to grow healthier food, save money on groceries, become more self-sufficient, or simply enjoy the satisfaction of harvesting from your own backyard, moringa is a tree that's well worth planting. I hope this masterclass has given you the confidence to grow your own. If it has, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever grown moringa before, or will this be your very first tree? Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience might encourage another gardener to get started. And if you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves gardening. If you're new to Grow Food Smarter, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we share practical gardening tips, clever growing strategies, and money-saving ideas to help you harvest more food with less effort. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Until next time, keep growing smarter, and I'll see you in the next video.